Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Inspire Life podcast. My name is Michael. I am one of your co-hosts here, and today we're going to be talking about what it is I do. I'm a health and wellness coach. There's a lot of people who have preconceived notions on what a health and wellness coach is, what health and wellness coaches do. And I'm going to be here to straighten up any questions, any perceptions that people have, and let everyone know what it is I do, why I do it, and how I go about doing that. So, to start off, I like to ask people a question, right? Have you ever struggled with anything in your health? Do you have some extra weight that you want to lose? Do you have unhealthy habits or routines that you notice yourself falling into on a day-to-day basis? Do you desire having more control over your urges? Do you desire having more energy daily? Do you want more peace of mind? These are a lot of things that a lot of people truly desire in life. And they try and make changes to do these things, and they're unsuccessful. So, if you answered yes to any of those questions that I alluded to, you may want to consider working with a health and wellness coach. So health and wellness coaching, it's a relatively new field. It actually came about from executive coaching, which really grew a lot in popularity in the 90s. And in 2002 was kind of the founding year of health and wellness coaching. And what health and wellness coaching is, or can be defined as, is a growth-promoting relationship that allows people to make meaningful changes to their behaviors and lifestyles. So, the emphasis here is really on autonomous motivation and increasing capacity for people to change, right? So, when we think about coaching, it's not someone giving you a meal plan or giving you a workout plan or telling you what to do, right? Coaching is more of a partnership in which clients discover within themselves the why and how behind the behavior changes that they're going to make. So, facilitating change through, the way I do it is I help people facilitate behavior change through vision creation, through goal setting, and through experimentation on those goals. It's a process that there's been a lot of research being done on it, and as of 2017, there's actually a national board certification exam so that people who are doing health coaching the sustainable way, that's actually going to help people change their behaviors rather than just prescribing, giving products or so be it. This certification and having a board certification is going to help there be more and more research that's helping people with something that's very near and dear to me. And if you know my story, specifically health and wellness coaching is shown to be one of the most effective strategies holistically to help people with obesity, right? Obesity is an epidemic that continues to get worse, especially here in the United States and other places internationally. The current logic and what people have been doing and the research what people have been doing to address obesity hasn't been sustainable, right? There are methods, and I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong. Again, whenever Dr. Mel and I are coming to you with content, a lot of it's from our experience and from doing research. There's a lot of strategies people have been using externally to try and address these issues around obesity that are not sustainable. We know that the rates of people having gastric bypass surgery, having to go in and do it again, is very high, right? We know that liposuction, a lot of times people have that procedure and they gain the weight back. We know too, a lot of people do a challenge or something for a month, or they get a workout plan and they get a meal plan for a month and they make some change, but they aren't actually truly addressing what it is that's causing the issues for themselves in the first place, which is low-lying behaviors and what consciously and subconsciously is leading us to make behaviors that are getting us to and keeping us in that state, right? So When it comes to health and wellness coaching, we know that people need to truly desire and want to change, otherwise it will not be successful, right? So, for example, if we've got, we'll say client A and client B, for example. Client A, her name is Amanda. She's been dealing with low energy, poor sleep. She really desires making changes to her diet as she consumes a lot of fast and processed foods, right? She's not consciously making decisions around food. She wants to be in charge of her own health, and she's really wants to make this change, and she's willing to sacrifice for it. She's willing to just do what needs to be done to make these changes and have them be sustainable, okay? Now that versus client B, we'll say Bob. Bob also deals with poor sleep and has minimal energy, but he's content living this way because it's been this way so long. He's maybe 40 pounds overweight. He desires to get back to college weight, whatever it may be. And he's thought about making some changes because he's noticing his work performance slip, but he doesn't want to give up, drinking beers every day, whatever it is, right? You can hear between these two examples that client A obviously desires to change, where client B, Bob, doesn't really, he doesn't really see the value and isn't going to take it very seriously. And analyzing where someone is on that readiness to change scale is a very important part of the intake process that I go through with all of my clients, right? If I'm working with someone, I start to work with them and realize that they don't want to change for the reasons that are internal for themselves, right? Because obviously family and showing up at work and community are really, really important, but at the same time, we know that when it comes to human neurology and physiology, when we are internally motivated to do something because of what it is that we're experiencing and what we want to experience and what we envision ourselves being able to experience it, we're going to be way more likely to actually follow through on those because it's internal. It's our need, right? So, when it comes to that stage of change and overall health, what I do with people and the way I work with people is I typically work with people for about 3 months. But before we get to that point, I do an intake kind of process with them to understand what their vision is. So, my style of coaching and my procedures are from the program that I went through, and it really made a lot of sense to me. And I've done a lot of exploring different programs, and I really, I chose, part of the reason I chose my program was because of how they go about doing the coaching. So, if you're considering working with me, or if you know someone who may want to work with me, they can expect, one, we are going to have 2 intake sessions. We're going to have a 60-minute session where we go over what are your strengths? What are the things that you do well when it comes to not only health and wellness, but in life, right? A lot of people are really good with organization, with time management. A lot of people have good knowledge about food, exercise, right? So we're gonna tap into those strengths and utilize them in creating your wellness vision. And a wellness vision is really just a compelling statement of who you are and what life-giving and health-promoting behaviors you're doing on a consistent basis, okay? So in the first session, we're gonna create that. We're gonna tap into your motivation, your strengths, and create a vision, okay? Session 2, you're gonna come in and, well, not come in, we're gonna be on the phone, and we're gonna create 3-month goals, right? And I touched on this. The reason that I do 3-month goals with people is from my experience and from what the research shows, 3 months is kind of a magical period, right? It's 90 days, and it's where you can create a substantial goal. So I focus on people who want to create realistic, healthy behaviors around weight loss. So like losing 30 pounds in 90 days in 3 months, that's 10 pounds a month. That's actually a pretty realistic goal. And if you're going to make that your goal and you want to succeed in that goal, it needs to be in your frontal lobe. You need to be focused on it every day. and you need to consciously be doing things in each moment that are going to help bring you to that goal. Okay? The 3 months, like we say, the reason we choose 3-month goals as an overarching goal that's pushing you towards that vision is because you need to focus on it daily, and it's far enough in the future where you can see some great transformation, and that will motivate you to continue going, okay? After those first 2 sessions, we have your wellness vision, we have your 3-month goals, we have our weekly sessions. So typically when I work with people, my sessions range from 30 to 45 minutes, and we open the session and then we talk about your goals or your experiments from the week prior. So there's no such thing as necessarily a bad experiment, but there's some that are better. And we follow SMART goals, which you may be familiar with, which is a specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound goal, okay? So if you made a goal, I want to lose 10 pounds in a week by next Wednesday, that's not super realistic, okay? You got to be realistic. We do that, and we focus on behaviors rather than outcome goals, okay? So if your goal is, I want to have worked out 4 times by next week so I can do X, Y, and Z, that's an outcome goal. You're focusing on the future and what you want to do because of what you think you're going to be able to accomplish in that time. Rather, we want behavior goals. So a really great goal is, I am going to work out 3 times this week. It's going to be on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 6 a.m. before work. Okay, those are behavior goals because that workout in itself is a behavior that you're doing. Or another example could be, I am going to make a lunch that consists of spinach, salmon, rice. I'm gonna make a lunch that consists of spinach, salmon, rice, olive oil, and vinegar dressing, and I'm gonna eat that lunch at work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, okay? It's specific, it's measurable. Specifical is not a real word. It's specific, measurable. It's gonna take action steps, right? You're gonna have to really put in work to do it. It's realistic because it's simply behaviors you're doing whichever day you choose, and it's time bound, right? So if you don't do it Monday, yes, you can do it Tuesday, and at the same time, your goal was Monday. How can we look at that and maybe going forward, make sure, well, not make sure, but how can we continue to accomplish these goals going forward? Another big part of coaching and how I work with people is, you, the client, are the one who is deciding everything, okay? You are making your goals. You are fully in charge of, if you act on those goals, you are choosing the topics that we discuss, and there's a part of each coaching session where we go deeper on a topic that is coming up for clients and get to the root cause and the root desires and needs that may be bringing that about. You choose everything. The coach, we're a guide and a partner in that process. So again, coaching is something that is definitely here to stay. If you like to read research, especially health and wellness, and you look at the literature that's coming out about the effectiveness of health coaching, especially when it comes to weight loss, this is a real thing. I ask you, if you took the time to listen to this today, what's your experience with health and wellness coaching? Do you know anyone who is a health and wellness coach? Are you interested in speaking with a health and wellness coach? What do we do? What don't we do? Again, I am an open book, and I am so passionate about what I do as a health coach and about what Dr. Mel does as a chiropractor. And we have a mission and a vision. We're gonna create a healthy society, because right now that's not what we have. Okay, and the methods that we've been doing and putting money into research, it's not working. Okay, I'm not going to say the system's broken, but it's not working. We need change, and we need it now. So again, I am very passionate about this. Please reach out to me. You can find my email. You can find us on InspireLifeChiroCenter.com, CoachCrew.com, Facebook. We have our online community, and really understanding that you are in charge of every decision that you make, especially when it comes to your health and well-being, that awareness is the first step. Sometimes, we have a goal to get to the top of the mountain, okay? We jump in our car, we're ready to go, and we're driving, and all of a sudden you get a quarter of the way up of the mountain, the road is closed. That does not mean you cannot still get to the top of the mountain, okay? Right? Like with weight loss, sometimes you're gonna hit a spot where you put a couple pounds back on, or you're sick of eating the same food every day, so you gotta figure out, what's better than chicken, rice, and broccoli, okay? There will be points in the road where it is tough, and there will be points in the road where you want to quit. And that, my friends, that is where the health coach is very important for keeping you accountable and helping you achieve that vision. So, again, we're scaling the mountain, we're on our way, one foot after the other, and we keep making progress. So, if you're listening today, whether it's videocast or podcast, as always, I thank you for listening. It has been so much fun creating this podcast along with my sister and the guests that we've had. Please reach out, give us feedback. What are we doing well? What do you want to hear us talk about? What can we improve on? And also, this is a big one. Please subscribe on your feed, whichever it is you're listening to. If it's YouTube, Spotify, Google Play Music, Apple, iTunes, iHeartRadio, wherever you're finding this, if you can subscribe, that helps us get the word out to more people, because it takes a community, a village, all of us working together if we're going to make the change and achieve the vision and the mission that it is that we set out to create the healthiest society possible. So again, my name is Michael. This is the Inspire Life podcast, and until next time, keep inspiring. Thank you.